Welcome to the show. We got Michael Klappauf here. Is that how I pronounce your name?
It's clap off. You remember the old commercial from back in the day? The clap on, clap off, the clapper? It's
Clap
clap off.
off. Clap
Just like
off.
that. Yeah.
Alright, so now the audience knows how to pronounce his name. Okay. And me as well. But so we were talking about how was there a decision to be, all shaven for the movie, or was it just like automatic at the time when the film An Intervention, which you star in? Yeah.
Well, it's funny. So I had actually just it's funny because I had shaved a few years ago my head, and I was shaving my face at the time too. So I didn't grow any facial hair whatsoever at the time. I could, but I didn't. And then so it was just kind of how I was with a shirt, tie, slacks, and a big marshmallow with eyes and a mouth for a head. So
Your character, you're the interventionist in the movie,
yeah,
the one who kind of
yeah,
directs everything,
yeah.
and the sort of documentary people do that as well. And I interviewed Dan. I don't know if you saw that,
Yep.
but I'm a big fan of the movie. What was your kind of approach when you crafted the character of the film?
Thank you. So that's so when Dan asked me to do it, the reason that he asked me to do that role specifically, because we had worked together many times before, but is I had actually a couple of years prior, about a year prior, just gotten off of a long run. I'd gotten out of rehab for the final time, thank goodness. So at this point, this man going to be 9 years clean and sober, so that's great. But yeah, so I kind of knew the rules of the game, so to speak. So because he wanted somebody who was in that world and kind of understood how it worked, I think he wanted me to step in to play a character who knew the rules but wasn't really doing everything correctly. So,
Yeah,
because sometimes you got to know the rules in order to know how to break them. So,
yeah, and your character's a bit, flamboyant. I'd say like he's always like the phone calls are my favorite when somebody calls you in the middle of the scenario. Was that completely made up by you, or like
yeah. Yeah, so Dan basically told me a rough outline. He gave me just a couple sentences on what my character was before. He said, so you're the interventionist. Your name is Liam Crabb. You're coming in to help this guy, Henry. And your wife's name is Carmen. And she's going to be calling you a couple times during the shoot. And you're having some marital problems. And that was it. And beyond that, it was just kind of go, have fun.
go, yeah, and
Yeah.
everything's always rolling. Like I saw on the YouTube channel, he has like a 4 hour compilation of like the fire truck. The what's his name? The fire
Fire truck, fire take Frank
fire
for 4 hours.
fire
Yeah.
tank. Yeah, dude, that was like I was like, dang, there's probably about I'd say about 10 times that film, maybe I don't know, but it's just cool to see like how much dang footage you had. Like how many was the cameras rolling all the time? Was there never a point where
Yeah.
there was like I mean, I'm sure for eating,
Yeah.
or for like, just like taking a break to go to the bathroom. I mean, maybe, but
Yeah, well, if you had to go to the bathroom, you just stepped off set, but it was still rolling. And as far as eating goes, Greg's roast, Jeremy was making that all day, and that was our food on set. So it was very real to life. We were eating, taking our break, so to speak, for eating. That was what you saw in the movie was us staying in character while we were getting some chow.
so you never really broke character most of the time.
No, no. The whole idea on set was that we were there, and once we showed, stay in character as much as possible, barring any kind of personal issues or anything that comes up that you have to tend to. He wanted us to just kind of be there and pretend that that was our life for a day, and at least for yeah. So that was pretty much the situation, and it
Yeah.
was really interesting way to do it, but it also helped a lot because you had to make sure that when you were making sure that you were staying in character all the time, you didn't have to shift gears back and forth between playing this part and real life. It actually kind of lets you just settle into it, and you just went with it and rolled with it. And I think that there were a lot of little comedic nuggets from everyone that came out because we weren't breaking our character at all. So there were some moments captured that I don't think could have been otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, have you done this approach before with other projects? Because you work a lot with Dan, obviously.
Yeah. No. Usually it's before that, and the most recent project that I have a role in was a much more traditional style shoot where it was take one, go, here's your scene. Different than some other films I've worked on in the sense that the takes tend to be a little bit longer, so you have a lot of room to play. So it's not like, okay, say your line, cut, now we're going to shift cameras, shift angles. It was, the scenes are more drawn out, which is nice, but no, never one long thing like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest that this set would be like weird to go to, just like to pop up, and I'm like, I'm not talking to Michael, I'm talking to, an angry, funny guy, and it's just
this total douchebag.
I want a time machine. I want a time machine. Pop in, be like, oh, I left my keys here. Oh, hello, characters of the intervention.
Yeah,
but I feel like
CADC.
Yeah, I feel like you probably wouldn't see that in a lot of Hollywood productions. It really depends, though. But like, if you were to go to the Star Wars, if you look back at like the Star Wars shoot, they were really making fun of George the whole movie because they're like, "What is this crap? What are we doing here?" Because like it's the '70s, all the movies were dark and grim and disgusting and dirty. Like Taxi Driver, like they're all gross movies, and then they're trying to make this hopeful fairy tale.
I see De Niro peeking out over your shoulder behind you.
Yeah,
I love the posters, man. So you've got Taxi Driver, you've got Rushmore, great film, From Dusk Till Dawn. You've got Pulp Fiction there. I see Jules sneaking out there in the corner. Beautiful. Oh man, what a setup!
You want to see a poster which would be like, why do you have that poster, Joe Dirt?
I like Joe Dirt.
yeah, it's the one of the most motivational movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, Joe Dirt is one of those like movies that if you've never seen it, it's easy to look at it and be like, I would never watch that. But then when you watch it, you find yourself laughing and realizing, oh, this is actually pretty decent.
Yeah. What do you say? Let me think of my favorite line. There's so many amazing lines from it, and he's like Joe will just say something like someone like he likes to bump into someone, and the guy he'll be like, I'm cool, and then the other guy will be like, no, you're not.
My favorite scene, I think, is with the in the school with the high school with the science experiment. And Fred Stoller's there, and they end up creating poisonous mustard gas. And meanwhile, you got Christopher Walken as like a janitor who's like a
witness protection program,
ex-mafia on the run. Yeah.
That was a golden moment, man. Like and how he's like shouts him out in the news interview. He's like, no, and then the mob guys find him, and then he ends up killing them all.
Does your mother sew? Bang! Get her to sew that.
Yeah.
Instead of just talking to himself in the hallway.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And just shooting, like, was he shooting at, like, or doing a fake little, he's messing with the fire hydrant, like, he's, like, banging on the wall, and just, like...
Yeah, and he's doing, like, a whole, like, soft shoe routine in the hallway, like, it was...
He's having fun with it. Walken was having fun with it.
It was kind of reminded me of the Weapon of Choice music video, the Fatboy Slim video with them dancing around, which I'll watch at least once a week just to keep myself jazzed. But
yeah, and he probably was like, "Oh, remember King of New York?" Oh, I'll just like I just tapped into that for this song.
Yeah,
because that's a great movie. I love that movie.
You remember Vincent Caccoli, True Romance? Just
take
that on pretend that you're on the run and you're in witness protection from that.
Yeah. I mean, what other Christopher Walken movies you mess with?
I mean, those are the ones that jump to mind right now. But my movie collection, so it's pretty. If you were to see, it's pretty esoteric. There's a lot of, so I've got some Fellini. I've got lots of David Lynch, favorite director, of course. Got a lot of the 70s, 60s classics, and then a lot of modern stuff. You know, of course, got the Tarantino X collection, things like that. Romero. I just actually was watching Creep Show before the interview.
I did a review
Scream
on that.
Factory. Yeah,
I did a
podcast
remaster with that, and I forget what was my favorite part of. My favorite one was the Stephen King one with the when Stephen King's in it, like he acts in it. That was my favorite part of it.
The lonesome death of Jordy Verrill. Yeah, where he's where the meteor falls and he turns into a big bush.
Yeah. It was, that was. If I were to say a creep show, if I were to describe it, I'd be like, that's hilarious. But also, who's the guy who does all the makeup and stuff? The Tom
Savini.
Yeah, dude. He which was the one the crickets, the bugs that were crawling out of the guy's body and stuff.
Oh, the roaches. Yeah,
the roach. Sure, yeah.
They're creeping up on you. That guy. That was, I think, the name of the segment. That guy that was like in that really modern apartment. He's like the landlord of the apartment. He's like a miserly old like grump, but he's also a
Scrooge
neat freak
kind
and a
of
germaphobe.
guy.
Yeah,
dude. That was.
You start seeing roaches. Yeah, that one. I don't know. I got a thing with like bugs and spiders and stuff. So that one's always like the one that freaks me out the most. So it's very fitting that it's the last segment. So.
Oh yeah. That's a creepy one as well. Yeah, I love. I gotta go. Like, I want to. I heard the sequel was like, whatever, but I still want to check it out. I don't care when somebody tells me a sequel's bad. I'm like, I'm still gonna check it out.
The sequel's got cult appeal. I mean, quality wise, if you're looking at it like objectively, it's nowhere near what the first one is. But I own it. Like Arrow Films released region free special edition Blu-ray of it.
Shout out to Arrow, they're awesome. I want to check out more, build an Arrow collection one day, but I don't really have a lot of them. But.
So they just released speaking of cult appeal, the Southland Tales. They released, finally, they have the Cannes Film Festival cut and the regular one. Yeah. It's a double Blu-ray set. So, I mean, yeah, Arrow, Criterion Collection, and Scream Factory.
What's Scream Factory?
Scream Factory is a subsidiary of Shout Factory. They've got Shout Factory, which... Yeah, so Scream Factory is their horror division, and they do premium Blu-ray releases, like, and some more obscure stuff too, but a lot of more popular films within the horror community. Like one really cool release they did was the original Tales from the Crypt from I think it was 1978, I think, in the Vault of Horror from 1980. If I'm getting my years wrong, forgive me, but they did a release of a double Blu-ray release of that, like a double feature where you get them both. And so, yeah, cool stuff. Though those three distributors, I tend to, when they have a release, I tend to pay attention and sit up. So
yeah, same with Criterion though, because I got the Moonrise Kingdom Criterion. That was awesome. The Wes Anderson one. I'm big on Wes Anderson. I gotta get more Wes Anderson posters.
Oh yeah,
but I love.
Yeah, the only Wes Anderson Criterion release that I haven't picked up yet is Grand Budapest Hotel, because I have the original Blu-ray release. So usually when I'm doing rebuys, they bump down a little lower on the priority list.
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that a steelbook, bro?
No, I don't. I think it's just like a little collector's edition. Put out by Columbia or something, but yeah, man, I really want to check out that one because Scorsese did a lot of documentaries that are overlooked. Really, I mean, probably by the common film fam. A lot of them probably check them out, but not as much. And he did a documentary on a little mockumentary thing on like who's the character who sold him the guns? I think it's like Easy Andy. Or something like that.
It is Easy Andy. Yeah.
The
character that
I want to check that out so badly, dude. Like, cause his characters I like characters that are really erratic and like, oh, so that's a 45mm pistol, you know? Like he's so like distinct, like the way he talks and stuff like that.
Yeah, like who was Peter Boyle was even in that movie, which a lot of people forget. He played Wizard, who was like a fellow cab driver.
On the poster, it says like Peter Boyle as Wizard. So I feel like I assume at the time he was pretty larger than most of the actors in it.
Yeah, I mean, he had, the 70s were big for Peter Boyle. I mean, between that and Young Frankenstein. So, yeah, but he was pretty established.
First Wes Anderson movie I saw, Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox was your first foray into Wes Anderson, really. That's cool. That's a good one to go in with because it's got a lot of the, I mean,
mainstream appeal.
That's a very Wes Anderson movie.
But it's still able to have an appeal of a kid who would watch, just SpongeBob or some jargon like that.
My first one was probably, I know what my first one was, and I would have to say it's probably a little less accessible. I started with Rushmore, and
that's a great one.
Yeah, that's the first one I watched, and that has some Wes Anderson tropes in it, but it's very much its own movie, and it's also a little less I don't want to say less comedic. I think the comedy in it hits a little more subtly than a lot of his other movies.
Oh yeah,
do.
Like it's like when I show it to to someone like now that they'll laugh at like the parts that I never thought they'd laugh at. Like when he goes like, I got some unfinished business to attend at Rushmore, and he's carrying a BB gun. Mm-hmm. Like someone would laugh at that part, but like it's just like what they laugh at is not what they say. It's how it's these weird, subtle, like as you said, subtle acts, and that's just an example because Yeah.
Well, and Bill Murray's line. Bill Murray is to Wes Anderson.
I'm gonna go Samuel Jackson. Yeah, he did that as well. As
Samuel
Moonrise.
Jackson is to Quentin Tarantino. Like Samuel Jackson knows how to deliver Quentin's lines.
Yes.
Bill Murray knows how to deliver Wes Anderson's lines. Like they're those. So to watch, and even like just seeing Bill Murray in that, just basically, pissed off, lighting a cigarette, saying how much he spent on the goddamn aquarium already is just funny to me for some reason.
Yeah, and also, isn't he like when he jumps off the diving board and he like still has a cigarette in his mouth and he brings the glass of beer or whatever he's drinking on top of it, and he just jumps in.
And he's just sitting there and it's his kid's birthday party. He's just sitting there throwing driving range golf balls into the pool like an asshole, just like whipping them at people as they're in the pool.
Yeah. What else is it? And in Moonrise Kingdom, he did that delivery as well, because I love Moonrise Kingdom as well. But he was like, I'm gonna go chop a tree down.
I'm gonna go chop a cherry tree. Yeah, I'm gonna go chop a tree down. Yes, and I was like, are you aware that your daughter's missing? Like, that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question. Yeah. That's I think probably I think that's all. It was like in order of when I watched Wes Anderson movies was the Fox movie, then Moonrise Kingdom. I watched a little bit of that, and then what else was there? It was probably Rushmore.
Darjeeling Limited.
No, I'm thinking of my order when I saw them, but
okay.
I don't know. I'll ask you, what would you watch after Rushmore in terms of your order of watching Wes Anderson
Rushmore,
movies?
It was. I went back and I saw Bottle Rocket because I liked Rushmore so much.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Is this guy's first movie?" And I found out it wasn't. So I tracked down Bottle Rocket, which at the time when I saw Rushmore, because Rushmore had just been released, this was 98 or 99 that I saw it. So it was actually hard because at the time their movie stores were still really prevalent, and I was asking around, and it took me like 3 stops at different movie stores before I found Bottle Rocket. It was not really a known film at that time.
Yeah, I on Bottle Rocket, I love it. So I like Wes Anderson's first 3. Those are my always. Whenever somebody asks me one of my best top 3 Wes Anderson movies or just top Wes Anderson movies, I always either mention one of the first 3, or I'll just say the first 3. But if I were to say like a great Wes Anderson movie that's not the first 3, I'd have to say the Moonrise Kingdom, or I don't think people. It's not that I dislike Grand Budapest Hotel. I just think that I like his more movies grounded in reality when he's not over the top with his style. That's what I like about Rushmore, is that it's not too over the top with his style.
Yeah, when it doesn't feel like he's shooting the movie in a live action dollhouse. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When it feels like it's actual reality. And that's what I kind of dug about Rushmore. Royal Tenenbaums was more on that other side of it, where it was a little more fantasy. It's great. There's a little more fantasy elements, like who dresses like that? Why is this house pink? Things like that.
When they give the list of the former people that the Mrs. Tannenbaum has married, and it's like shows like It'll be like some random scientist in some lab, and there's 30 people in the background doing 30 different things, and like and
where they do the tableau shot of the people, like it's live action, but it looks like they're posing for a portrait. Like, and it just shows their name right underneath them.
It's like this is so iconic, and I just love that shit so much. Like the fact that he takes that time to do that, and the fact that someone like the producers would care enough to like get that set in, it's like inspiring. That what I'd say.
Yes.
As someone who like writes movies on my own, that's inspiring that someone would fund that, like
that's kind of why I liked actually Darjeeling Limited a lot, because it takes place in India, which is it satisfies Wes Anderson's color palette very well, I think, because India is a very colorful nation. There are a lot of pastels and yellows, and so it actually fit the tone as opposed to feeling out of place. Like, granted, I love Grand Budapest Hotel, but I see what you mean about how it doesn't feel like it could be reality. It feels like a dream almost, Yes,
yeah, it's like and same for that's why it's good that he's doing more claymation type of stuff, which I want to see him do. I would love to see a Wes Anderson animated show, like a 3-season animated show. I feel like he could totally make something that would have a great fan base or something with Netflix or something like that.
Check this out: Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu. What if he got an exclusive deal to do 10-episode seasons, but they're anthology, so every season is a different story, but maybe they interconnect? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be so excellent, dude. Like, we're coming up with something. Wes Anderson, I want my 10%. I mean, give him his 10%. Give us our 10% if you can write that down. But I'm pretty sure he's reading a book from the 18th century, probably in Paris, which is where he lives.
He's busy categorizing his Kinks vinyls in order of emotional scale, so it's probably what he's busy doing right now, I would have to say.
Yeah,
but that's all in jest. I'm
pretty sure he writes his movies on a typewriter.
Oh, dude, no, Wes Anderson does not own an electronic computer. You kidding me?
Yeah,
no. And the typewriter is one of those. It's not even like the classic kind of typewriter. It's the kind where like you have to maneuver the bar for every letter and then pound the key and it goes.
What I want to see though, I'm speaking on a different director who's probably inspired, who has inspired Wes Anderson a lot, is Scorsese. I want to see how Scorsese interacts with his screenwriters. I definitely want to see that. I feel like there's more that he does probably because of how distinct Scorsese is with the editing in his movies. Do you think that he would probably be way more interactive with his writers than a lot of people would think?
Yeah. I think of, obviously I don't want to, I've never met the man, but if I had to guess, I would have to, if I had to surmise, he probably vets the people that he's going to be shooting a movie for very well. I'm sure that he either hires the screenwriters based on personal choice, or if he's going to shoot something of theirs, I'm sure he seems like the kind of guy that would go through a vetting process by reading all of their previous work and having conversations with them. Yeah. And just making sure, I don't know how much it would go into like control over like rewrite this, rewrite that, but I'm sure it was kind of be like, let's make sure this is the kind of person that's going to do what I want before we get too far into it. It
just makes sense. So, like you look at Wolf of Wall Street, the writer of that wrote Get Rich or Die Trying, but with the 50 Cent biopic, which makes sense. Biopic about sort of rise to fame, rise to riches, sort of thing. So it makes sense.
Because that was what he was going for. I don't think he'd hire that guy if he was like, I want to do a movie about the formation of the mafia in America, La Cosa Nostra. I don't think he'd hire that guy. But for Wolf of Wall Street, that was what he needed. So I think that just based on that.
Yeah, for sure. And also what's cool to see is that writer that he got like a horrible Rotten Tomato score on the, not that really matters that much, but on the Get Rich or Die Trying, and now he's like got the critical acclaim. So shout out to that writer. I think his name's like Terrence something, I forget. But I want to know how the sort of how you started making movies with Dan Eden. How did that start up?
So that's actually an interesting story since we're talking about Wes Anderson, because one of the first things that we really like related on was Wes Anderson. Like, so I'll tell you the story. I'll give you the Cliff Notes. So Jeremy, who plays Greg, I met him in 8th grade. And the way I met him was by me coming into a musical drama class that we were taking together and immediately announcing my presence in the classroom by shouting out quotes from Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. Why I did that, I don't know. It was 8th grade, whatever. But he was the only person in the room that got the joke, even though it was a real eye roll type of, oh God, who's this guy? And we started to connect based on that. And so we were friends, and, you know, I just based on interaction with him, I met Dan, and it turned into an individual friendship. So whereas originally I knew Dan through association, that blossomed into, okay, now it's not just, oh, I'm friends with Jer's brother. It's I'm friends with Jer and I'm friends with Dan, like a separate whole thing. And based on that, in high school, Jeremy and I joined drama club and we started writing some things together. And then Dan was only a year behind us, so he started joining in and we just started collaborating from there. And that's really kind of where it went. And then I went to Columbia College in Chicago for theater. Dan went for filmmaking. So the collaboration and communication just continued from that point.
Yeah. Like, what was the first project that you actually collaborated on?
Well, I mean, if you're not, I mean, we did some films back in high school, college days that weren't really, you know, they were more for us than
experimental, just fun.
Yeah, feature length. You know, there was a 2-part movie. There was an original, a first movie and a second movie called, the first one was called Looking Up Marilyn's Dress, and the second one was another peek at Marilyn's Dress. And actually, if you go to the Eek Entertainment YouTube channel, another peek at Marilyn's Dress is on there. And it was basically just I'm going to use the word, it was a ripoff. It was a Spinal Tap ripoff, but it was for us to kind of get our feet wet and learn the craft. And then the first like real production that I had collaborated with him on was after or while I was actually in the process of getting clean. I was living in a halfway house, and it was shot a year before an intervention. It was called I Hate Theater. And that was shot, you know, I think Dan had mentioned that was shot at a theater in Skokie over the course of several weekends.
Where are you based out of, by the way? If you want to share that
I'm in Mokina, Illinois. No, that's cool. I'll tell people. All right. Come at me, bro. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm in Mokina, Illinois. So, you know,
yeah,
kind of near Chicago, but not So,
yeah. And what he kind of told me is that like all the actors kind of knew each other before the movie. Some of them did, some of them don't. But did you know a lot of the actors of an intervention before the shoot?
I knew Jeremy, I knew Dan, and I kind of knew Caitlin, who plays Jer's wife and is Jer's real life wife as well. That was it.
Oh, never mind.
That was it.
All right.
I didn't know anyone else.
Yeah.
That was really it. I did not know Ryan, who played Fire Tank Frank. I didn't know Kara. I think I may have met Kara in passing previously at some point, but didn't know her, and didn't know anyone else. Didn't know Katie Dinkley. Didn't know Brian. Didn't know, you know. So it was the whole thing was all fresh and new to me. So I knew Jared, I knew Katie or Caitlin, and that's it.
Yeah. So, that's what was released under the whole Eek sort of thing. But you collaborated with Dan and them on the 90 Under 90 podcast, right?
Yeah, still am. Yep, still doing that from time to time. I don't know how much I can say. I won't spoil too much, but actually Jeremy, Dan, and I are collaborating on another podcast, the first of which is getting recorded tomorrow. So yeah, that'll be that'll be a cool launch to
I'll
have.
be on
But
Twitter
yes,
checking that out because I know they post about it on Twitter a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be one that, because I'm a rotating guest on 90 Under 90. This one's going to be a permanent me, Jared, Dan. So it's going to be more established. But we're still doing 90. Any 90 Under fans out there, we're still doing 90 Under 90. That's not going nowhere. So
yeah, because I want to ask though, what is that like the new show about? Like, is it just like a movie review podcast, or is it something different?
It has to do with movies, and it has to do with specific franchises. That's all I'll say, because I don't know how much I can give away. I don't want to say something.
Non-disclosure agreements, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be totally fine if I say it, but I don't want to. And then get a text message like, "Hey, why are you spouting off at the mouth about our secret project?"
Yeah.
So no, but they wouldn't do that. They'd probably be cool with it, but just out of respect, I'm not sure. So I'll say it's about specific franchises, media franchises. That's all I'll say from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what Dan told me is that you're gonna be doing like a sort of mockumentary trilogy. Are you gonna be a part of the next project in that trilogy or no?
Yeah. So the next film, which he's currently working on, I'm in. It's a smaller part. But it's also, I think, it's a very memorable part. So it's kind of one of those things where you watch a movie and you see someone, you're like, oh, I know that guy, and you're like, it's almost like a very, very, very memorable cameo. I will say I'm proud of the work I did that day when we shot for it. But yes, I will be in that, and Dan and I have absolutely plans to collaborate further in the future. I think we work well together, I hope, but I think that from my experience and from my discussions with him, I think we collaborate well, so I don't see that ending anytime soon.
Oh yeah, man, that sounds awesome. It's always good to it's like when the only thing I could compare it to is when I have like a reoccurring guest on my show or something like that.
Sure, man. Something like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I had.
It's always good to have your regulars.
Yeah, like I had this guy named Ziploc on one time. He's a musician and sort of motivational speaker kind of guy. And then I had him on for like 1 hour, right? And then I had him on for 3.5 hours the next episode, and it was like,
oh, dude,
it was awesome. Yeah. Like I love the 3-hour episodes because like you really get a lot out of someone, but like it's also like, I don't know, I like long. That's why I don't post on TikTok. I used to have a TikTok because I like long form content. That's preferred. Like, right. Would you say you like that as well, like long form content instead of like a 3-second video? That's why you're not on social media, probably.
Yeah, just me. We could talk about that. I'll get into me on social media.
Talk about that.
But but as far as I do enjoy long form content. I think because I appreciate the ability to connect with something, as opposed to just seeing it and be like, okay, next. So but no, social media. I'll talk about it. I don't do. You won't find me on social media. I have like an email address. I have a YouTube account, but I don't post to it. I just use it so that I can create personal playlists of stuff I like. I don't know. I never. I have an uncanny ability to become anxious and overly like. I don't know if I see something posted and I'm like. I don't, I feel like it would cause me stress. Let me put it that way. So I kind of stay away from it for that reason.
I can't disagree, even though I've had it. That's what I'm on most of my life. It's just a way to build fans. That's my. I admit that's an excuse, but yeah,
it's necessary though when you're trying to build a fan base. It's absolutely something that's. And that's why, if people ask me, that's why when Dan told me, it was like, hey, Mike Haas, he wants to do the interview. Are you willing to do this? And yeah, give him my contact info because I would totally do that because I don't get my name out there any other way aside from from appearing in things. So yeah, I love to do this stuff. You know, I just don't have my own accounts, but that doesn't mean I'm averse to, you know, getting out there in the community or anything.
Yeah, the film community, because I mean, mainly what you'd see on my channel is me interviewing a lot of, you know, hip hop artists and musicians and other podcasters. But
I saw that. I started checking out your channel after I saw Dane's. It's cool stuff, man.
But I also love, you know, the interview the filmmakers and actors as well. Like I interviewed Chris Von Hoffman. I don't know if you heard of his horror films. He did.
I haven't. Tell me though. I'm always interested in looking up new content.
He did Drifter and Monster Party. Monster Party had
Monster Party I've heard of.
Yeah, that had Lance Reddick in it, and it's dope. It's like there's like these three teens, they want to like rob a mansion and stuff, so they pose as the caterers, right? But the mansion is having a party for Serial Killers Anonymous and stuff, so they're like kind of talking about how they're not serial killers anymore, and it's a bunch of rich people and stuff, and they're all trapped in the house and stuff, and it's like what do I compare? It's like kind of like Ready or Not.
Very similar. Cool. Okay.
But it's like a bit more like low budget, and it came out before Ready or Not.
Sure. Sure.
And I love the guy. Like the guy, he's really good with like it's kind of got a little crime thriller aspect to it as well, because one of the characters like really needs the money for his father that's like held hostage by a crime boss and stuff. So there's a lot of other elements besides the one situation. That's why his previous movie was not as good as this one, because the previous movie is all about like one situation, one scenario, but this one had more layers to this situation and stuff like that. I mean, would you agree that when there's more layers to like situations in movies, that makes it better?
I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, David Lynch is my favorite director. If those aren't layers, I don't know what the layers are. You know, yes, I love subtext, I love layers, I love subplots, I love the ability when I watch or rewatch a movie to think about it after and try to pick things apart and create my own little like mental universe about what I think certain things.
It's like watching Interstellar and you're like sitting for an hour after it, like totally. That's why I love Nolan though, because he's always, when there's one scene happening, he's always editing a bunch of different things happening at the same time with the continuity. That's why he's good. He's always doing the cut to this happening at the same time as this. It's like the lead up to Rachel being murdered in The Dark Knight. I'm not saying spoiler warning, because that's like everybody, like what? Everybody's seen that movie, The Dark Knight.
You've had 13 years. I think that if you haven't watched it by now, that's on you.
14 years. So, but I mean,
14.
13 and a half probably.
13 and a half, yeah, because it was 2008, it's 2021, so yeah, right around, roughly that long.
Yeah,
so,
sure, yeah.
Whatever it may be.
But
you've had time is the point to see it.
But I think Nolan, like, his camera work is awesome, right? Like, the way he does everything, but I feel like his strength is editing more so and stuff. But it really depends on which movie it really depends on what the movie's subject matter is for you to find good camera work. I think his blocking and editing is what's better than the camera work. And I'm not saying his movies are shitty quality. They're not shitty quality at all. But how do I say this? Like Tenet, the blocking is way better in Tenet than you know, the cinematography of Interstellar, because Tenet is so much more about the blocking and the editing. Because I don't know if have you seen Tenet?
I haven't seen Tenet. So I have not seen. I keep forgetting to watch it. I bought a 4K Blu-ray of Dunkirk. Haven't watched it yet.
Can I explain to you something in Tenet without spoiling any really thing? It's just,
I don't do spoilers. I don't mind spoilers, because the way I look at it is, if a movie is spoiled for me, whether it's a plot twist or not, and I can watch it and still enjoy it, there's a litmus test for if that movie is actually good or not. So go ahead, spoil away, brother.
So in Tenet, people are moving backwards in time at the same time as people moving forward in time.
Okay.
So
it's a question of like when they're going to meet up, or
yeah. So like no, like, literally they'll be in a scene and someone will be walking backwards and doing things in reverse, and a person will go through a porthole to be looking at that part of time where everybody's going in reverse in order to change the reverse part of time. in order to change.
That's pretty tight. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't know.
So,
I mean,
like,
I've heard such mixed things on that movie. Like, it's polarizing.
I don't want to sound like an intellectual or anything, but you got to like analyze it a little bit. And that's because it's complicated, but that's coming from a point of view of someone who likes complicated stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that, and that feels to me a little bit more like he's taking almost a more advanced take, or like a modern Christopher Nolan version take of like what he was kind of doing with Memento. Because that, I mean, same deal. I mean, you have to really be paying attention to that because chronologically that movie's messed up. That's another thing with that movie. I had the DVD where you can watch that movie in order. There's like a bonus feature where if you play it and you can watch it chronologically, let me tell you something. It holds up. It's still great. So, yeah. And that was...
Drake had a line about Memento. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really like a complicated line, but he's like, I'm feeling like lately. I've been feeling like Guy Pearce in Memento, where he's just like, I don't know. I gotta check that one out so badly. That movie.
No, that makes I know exact. You know, if you know that movie, you know what Drake means by that.
Because I know it's all about like it's like done. The movie is like done in a specific order. I do know that. Like I watched Googled it, and I was like, looked at the little, not summary of the movie, but you know. What do they call it? A little bio or whatever, stuff like that. But I gotta check out what was his. I want to check out Christopher Nolan's first movie though. I forget what it was like. It was about The Following or something like that.
It is The Following. That's what it's called. And actually, Criterion has a release of that. So if you're gonna check it out, I'd say do it up that way if you can, because
I'm trying to find my Moonrise Kingdom Criterion so you could see that. I don't know if you have that one, but
I do. Yeah, is it the slipcase edition or the snap cover edition? Because I know Criterion likes to release two kinds.
Yeah, I think it's the one with the beach on the front.
Yep, slipcase, cool.
And also the cards and the maps inside of it, so cool.
Yeah. Oh, you got the good one. Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
I got the good one, and I actually accidentally got two of it. Amazon messed up, or I messed up with ordering it on Amazon, and I got two. So,
nice.
So maybe I'll ship you that. Oh, you already have it. Shit, never mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a giveaway. Why not?
Giveaway, yes.
That's what I meant. Yeah, giveaway.
There you go.
So I want to ask this question: what actors do you see yourself in when you watch movies? See you borrow from a little bit, or do you try not to do that?
No, I do. I try not to, but I do. And I'm gonna be real with you. It actually is whatever I'm most recently watching tends to come with me.
Yeah.
So if like I'll notice that. Let me give you kind of an example.
Yeah.
So I do customer service over the phone for a living. I take calls. And when you're doing that, especially when you're working on a home like I am, you kind of have the freedom to stick an earbud in one ear and just let movies play on your phone and talk to people, and you're kind of half paying attention to the movie. I was watching Black Mass the other day, and all of a sudden, I realized I'm starting to talk to people like I'm from New England, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. and it was so weird, and it was funny because we have this system called Barrent where we can listen back to calls if we get feedback on it. And I was like, why am I talking like I'm from Southie? Like I didn't even realize I was doing it. And I would not be surprised if I carried some of that into, because you pick things up from around whatever you're gathering or whatever I'm gathering at any given time. Whatever I tend to be absorbing, I tend to pick things up. So I think it all depends on what I'm currently really into at the time. I'll take some of that with me.
Yeah. It's like when Robert De Niro did that whole the talking to me things because he was watching Bruce Springsteen at a concert, and then he made one of the most annoying movie lines ever. Like it's the amount of people that commented or make a little joke about it. The Taxi Driver, I used to really like it, and it had its small little fan base. I always like it, right? But when Joker came out, all these people were like, "Oh my god, Joker looks inspired by Taxi Driver." So they're like, how do I say this? Everybody started being so annoyingly attached to this movie, and in this way where, because I'm a guy who doesn't really like Joker, and I just feel like it just takes a lot from 70s and 80s. Like, what do you think of the Joker movie? I want to know your feeling on it.
I loved Joker. I thought Joker was fantastic, but I also think that the inspiration angle is something to maybe acknowledge but not dwell on, because everything is inspired by everything else.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that I agree with you in the sense that when people are talking about, oh, it's inspired, like everyone made the other thing that I'm sure you noticed being a Scorsese fan, that everyone was making a big deal. I was like, oh, now De Niro's the talk show host, king of comedy. And I'm like, yeah, fine. That's cool. But that's not the point of the movie.
Well, I don't, it's not that I don't like Joker. I like,
I'm talking about how like people tend to do that, you know, not what you did, just what people do in general.
Inspiration doesn't mean a movie's good or bad. That's what I'm meaning. And I'm saying the route of them saying, oh, inspiration means that it's good is not right. The movie is, I feel the movie is how I feel about it because it's because of the movie and not because of the inspiration.
Totally.
Right? So
right on.
I think the movie's not, I think it's more better than bad, right? That's how I feel. I feel like it was a solid movie when it came out in the time. And I feel like 2019, we could agree though, me and you. Great film. Great year for movies.
Yeah.
2019 was one of the best years for movies ever.
Totally.
Like, honestly.
Is that, you might be able to help me out with this. Is that the year Mandy came out? Or was that 2018?
That was 18, but I love Mandy, dude. Okay. Oh my god!
Dude.
When is Panos Cosmatos are gonna like start making more movies? Like, please, dude, please. Like,
because Beyond the Black Rainbow was 2011, so it took 7 years for Mandy to come out. So who knows, man?
For sure, but, like Mandy, dude. That's Let me think about Mandy. I think it's one of the most well built up movies ever. Like, I compare it to The Shining, really. Like, that's one of those movies I have to get on DVD, like, so badly, because I watched it on Shudder when it was out on Shudder. But yeah, dude, man.
Yeah. And I think a lot of, 2019 was a great year.
Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse.
Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse, dude.
I watch Uncut Gems every month, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
The Lighthouse was dope. Uncut Gems is great. The Lighthouse was dope. Lots of really good films come out of that year. And I mean, even you could say Joker. The thing is, I think that with Joker, I don't want to say even just with Joker, with any movie, I think that's, you can look at a movie objectively and subjectively. You can look at any kind of movie and say, this is my hot take. I don't think that there's any way to look at specific movies and say that is objectively a bad movie.
Yeah, right.
I think that you can look at specific movies and say it's not for me. It doesn't do anything for me. But when I watch a movie, it all is going to depend on what I take from it. I went through a very, very, very dark and isolating period in my life. So when I watch Joker, experiences from my life are drawn into my experience watching that movie, and it means a lot to me on a personal level. When
I first watched Joker, I loved it, but after, like, I just couldn't bring myself when I first watched it, I appreciated it, but I can't bring myself to really watch it again because I'm not feeling in that place in my life right now. Like, I'm feeling more hyperactive. That's why I like Uncut Gems, because it still maintains that dark tone, but it's fun. It's like, it's like, I said no water, Yeah. You resurface your fucking swimming pool. I heard you resurface. Like,
I didn't resurface my swim. I don't know who said that.
Dude, Howard.
That is a hyperkinetic movie. I thought that movies couldn't get any more hyperkinetic than Good Time, and then the Safdies blow me out of the water with Uncut Gems.
Man, I love the Good Time.
Good Time.
Do you know the explanation of the title? Have you ever heard of that? It's not.
No, tell me.
So, Good Time is not called Good Time because it's ironic. It's because it's like a prison term or something. Like, he got good time. But I'm gonna say it's both. I'm gonna say it's both meanings because like I can do that. because I'm a fan, and that's the way I'm going to interpret it.
Yeah,
that's
the way you want to look at it. Yeah, once the artist creates something, it's no longer theirs. It belongs to the viewers or the people taking in the art, because everyone's going to make everything their own, and that's the awesome thing about it, man. And dude, so Good Time, I will tell you, before the main title even comes up, Good Time makes me cry like a baby. That scene, that long shot.
Yeah, at the end of the movie.
Safdie. No, just even though before the.
Oh, you mean like the beginning, like when when he's having the conversation with the therapist,
and you just see that when Benny Safdie, he's sitting there and he's saying like, how he feels, and he was just trying to make some chicken because he was hungry, and he's frustrated, and so he just stops talking, and he's like, just starts crying, and I look at him and I just feel for this guy. And then like his brother comes in, and Robert Pattinson killing it in that movie, man, just killing it, and telling him about how much he cares about him, but just based on marketing and what you already kind of know about the movie, if you haven't seen it yet, that he's going to lead him down the wrong path, but he's going to do it with the right intentions.
He has good intentions. That's just so sad about it, that the brother has good intentions. I hate when people are like, "Oh, that means he's gonna be a good Batman. That means he's gonna be a good Batman." Yeah, he's probably gonna be a good Batman, but I'm gonna go check out his older movies because that's what I like from him. Like, even if Batman is like, "Oh my God, it's Batman and it's great," which I'm not denying it's gonna be great, but what I'm saying is, I found more appreciation for like just the small movies actors are doing as opposed to the huge movies they're doing. Like, just Matthew McConaughey like doing The Gentleman. That's like something I look forward to checking out and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna go check out his romantic comedies from like 10 years ago or something. I'm gonna check out. Have you seen The Gentleman though?
I haven't had the opportunity to see.
You know about it though, right? Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie, where he's Matthew McConaughey plays like. He's like, I'm just a smooth talking drug dealer, bro. Like, come on. It looks good, man. It looks good. I will tell you though, Matthew McConaughey is somebody who, the first season of True Detective, I could watch that repeatedly every time.
Yeah, I've watched it 4 times, and I've had a friend over and we watched it like all night. I was like 8 hours. I don't care. I've been trying to get you to get in my group for 6 months. I'm gonna hold a gun to your head and make you watch True Detective with me. I didn't do that, but I had that mentality.
Spot. Yeah,
and I like how we're calling it a movie, right? Because it's not, but
But it really, I mean, no, technically it's not, but it's an 8-hour movie.
But I'm saying, like, it's good that we're thinking of it like that. That's how good it is. That's how good it is that we're saying it is like that. Because it's such a dope. What I say about that is Nick Pizzolatto. The guy who wrote it. He was like, I wanted to make a series of just 2 people talking, but I've put it in a murder mystery because I just wanted to show 2 people talking or something like that. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah, makes sense, bro. Like, that's amazing.
Totally. Yeah, right on. Like, and that is one of those works that you can watch, and the dialogue laden scenes are just as captivating as the action sequences. It's one of those where
the one shot the one shot is almost as good. The one shot, as you're saying, is as good as them talking about religion in the church meetup in the revival tent. I love that when he's like, "What's the average IQ here? What do you think the average IQ is here?" It's just like, dude, that's amazing. That line right there.
Yep, I could sit there and watch Matthew McConaughey go through a drug-infested den on a single shot, call for backup on the house phone, and drop it without hanging up, and just strung out crazy. I could watch that just as intently as I can watch him talk about how time is just a flat circle.
Yeah,
Either way you slice it, it's captivating. And then they did the second season. Yeah. So there was that.
I watched the first 15 minutes. And I was like, I'm good.
The performances were spectacular. The content, the storytelling, the editing, the way it came together. No, not so much.
I couldn't.
Everyone gave it their all. There was effort. A for effort. I'll put it that way.
I like the reason I like True Detective is the reason I like Once Upon a Time in America by Sergio Leone is it really kind of shows how it's able to make something so captivating while showing how like painful and sort of boring things are in reality. You know, like that.
Absolutely.
Once Upon a Time in America, like it really shows like it kind of just shows a lot of horrible things happening in one person's life, and at the end, it's like he just sits with it. Really, that's really all he can do is just sit with it and be like, move the fuck on, right?
Yeah.
I had horrible friends growing up. I'm 55 years old right now. Move the fuck on. That's the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
You seen that, right?
Yep. Life is a series of shitty things happening, and it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you're gonna deal with it. That's it.
Yeah. And if you make that sentence that you said into an entertaining like movie or series, that's like that's talent, you know. That's talent.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely, right on. No, but Lighthouse, you brought up Lighthouse. I knew you were talking about Lighthouse with Dan. You mentioned it. Dan hadn't seen it, but you were talking, and that movie is that's a good movie.
Yeah. That made me check out The Witch though too. So I was like, ooh. And I want to see that director. I want to see what other era that director could tackle. And if I were to ask era, if I were to ask that director, could you tackle this era? I'd say I want you to tackle the Viking era. I'd love to see, and I'd just like, I'd pay him to do that. Like I'd bet money on him doing that because I feel like he could do any era. But I wouldn't want to see him do something epic. I'd want to see him do an era that's kind of morbid, boxed in, not a lot of people there. Because like, do you really think the Vikings are having a good time? No, they were in the cold. No. They were in the gutters. You know.
His black and white cinematography, just the way that the Lighthouse looked, made me want to see him do like an old-timey remake of like Little Caesar or White Heat, like a mob movie done in like a 20s or 30s style, like they did back then. I would like to see his take on that.
I gotta
like
check out some of those movies more.
Yeah.
Like I'd kill to check out the original Scarface, but then I feel like there's so much more down there at the time instead of just the original Scarface movie, because like I'm really ignorant to like 20s and 30s movies. You know, I've checked out a couple 40s movies. I checked out Letter from an Unknown Woman by Max Opals. That was excellent. You seen that one?
Oh yeah,
it's on YouTube. Like you can literally Google that. Because I'm that's why I like Rushmore and like Royal Tenenbaums, because they're kind of like sort of romantic movies, and that's why like I get the energy from Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums as I do from like Letter to an Unknown Woman. You know what I mean? I get that same energy from it.
Yeah, totally. That same pace. And that's the thing. I think like it's funny because sometimes a lot of times people say like, oh, I don't like watching those old movies. And I'm like, maybe you haven't watched the right one. Because just like modern films, you're not going to like everything you see. So you're probably going to see stuff.
Is everybody going to like that new Liam Neeson revenge movie? No.
No, there's probably some people that will, and that's cool. But you know, 80 years from now, when they're playing it on TCM, just because it's on a Turner Classic Movies doesn't necessarily make it a classic. You're not going to like everything you watch. So, it's all about what suits you. Yeah. So
it's like I don't know. What else could I compare this to? I think with any group of content, you're not gonna like anything really. It's like every album made by are you gonna like every Kanye album? Are you gonna like every so and so album? No, you're gonna like maybe 2 or 3, realistically.
Right, but at the same time, I decree anyone. I'm always about, when it comes to art, especially, it pays to have an open mind. Because I'll talk to people who will be like, oh, I don't like hip-hop, or I don't like country, or I don't like classic rock, or progressive rock, or punk. And it's like, yeah, but how much have you really given it a shot? Have you listened
Green
to
Day is not all of punk music. Have you heard of the Agent Orange, Dead Kennedys? Have you heard of the Descendants? Milo Goes to College. Have you heard of that album?
Because within every genre, there's subgenres,
Surf punk.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, like for example, you know, what was the I'm just saying, do you know this song? You know this song. Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, that track.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the track that got me into hip hop.
Yeah.
Because before that, it's not like I didn't like hip hop. I was unfamiliar. I just happened to hear that song one day because I was channel surfing and they were doing like throwback music videos on some high up channel. And I was like, damn, this song is cold. And whoa. And I started digging into the lyrics and the meaning behind it. From there, I was like, well, I like that. I'll probably like some other Tupac stuff. So I started digging into that. And I was like, if I like that, let me start expanding my horizons. Now I'm listening to, I'll go anywhere. If you go through my album collection, it'll be everything from early Peter Gabriel era Genesis all the way to like Run the Jewels. It's just all
Run the Jewels. I'm glad that you know that. Did you see the fourth one that they dropped this year?
Oh yeah.
And the intro to that, the Yankee and the whatever, the
yeah, that is so tight.
Like just hearing that in the car, it's like I might crash the car, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. Dan actually introduced me to Run the Jewels.
Oh my god!
Because he sent me he texted me the music video to Legend Has It. He was like, check these guys out. And I was like, all right. And from there, I just started listening to all their tracks, so.
Wasn't Killer Mike on Joe Rogan, maybe? I could be wrong.
I don't know. Was he?
I feel like he probably has been.
It makes sense. I know he's got a new show.
He has been. Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
Wait. So I look up Killer Mike Joe Rogan, and this pops up. It says transcript. So people write transcripts of Joe Rogan episodes. You can't be serious.
I just picture somebody sitting there, like with a Wes Anderson era typewriter, just like typing out what they hear on the Joe Rogan show.
No, this is real. I'm emailing you this just because.
Do it.
This is real. People actually sit down and do this. They better be getting paid. Like, if they're not getting paid, they have no life.
No, it's just it's just the Joe Rogan fan club, man. They just
I'm a member. Like, I'm literally in the Discord, but like I'm not that deep into it.
You're not that hyped. Yeah, it's not that hardcore for you.
The thing about Joe Rogan is he introduced me to so many other podcasts like that I watch more than him now, like Duncan Trussell, Joey Diaz. I don't really watch the Bill Burr one a lot because I just think his voice is annoying. Every now, I'm gonna be honest. Like, he's like, so I made a joke about women one time, just some stuff like that, and it's like, we get it, bro. We get it.
I do like Bill Burr, but I get what you're saying. Like,
if I made a joke about hitting women, like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna watch a Bill Burr stand-up special on Netflix, you can better believe I'm gonna space it out with some other stuff. It's a limited dosage thing with Bill Burr.
It's not that I'm offended by him at all. That's not the case.
Right.
It's just like there's certain ways people force a point that they're making down your throat that's not really consumable as a consumer, and that's why I like Joe Rogan, like, and other people like Duncan Trussell is because they're more like low key about how they present a piece of information, or they do it in a more interesting way. Like Joe Rogan he's so casual about bringing up something controversial.
Yeah, and as he's saying it, he'll like shrug his shoulders and give that like what like look, and it's like, don't what, what,
or like, he's like toking on something, or he's like,
yeah,
Jamie, or he says it and he's like, Jamie, could you put the order in for the new coffee? Could you put the order in for the coffee? We ran out of coffee, Jamie.
just take it down a notch, Bill. I get it. Like, I like Bill Burr, but in doses.
Yeah.
What
other podcasts are you a fan of? Or comedians?
I listen to I podcasts are kind of, it's funny because it's something that I wasn't really into until we started doing 90 Under 90, and then I started getting really into it. So the podcasts that are on my repeat play are like, I used to be really into We Hate Movies, but I kind of fell off the track with them just because I don't know why. I'll go back to them at some point, I'm sure. I like to listen to Danny and Aaron's Grumpcast because I'm a big fan of Game Grumps. And as far as subscriptions go, that's pretty much it. But then what I'll do when I'm listening to them is I'll be one of the few guys that actually goes down to the like you may also like section. I'll be like, let me throw this on and see what I think of it. You know what I mean? So just kind of picking and choosing from there. But my big platform I think that I really troll a lot around on is YouTube, like YouTube series and stuff like that. That's my big forte. Like that's what So YouTube, I'll watch everything from, gaming Let's Plays from John Wolf to Game Grumps and then I watch some commentary shows like I like Wang, I like Review Tech USA. I watch a lot of top fives, which is like paranormal top five stuff, which I kind of, guilty pleasure alert there. Yeah. But, and then whatever ends up popping up in my feed from that point that I think I might be into. But I got really into YouTube when I was recovering because all I really had to keep me entertained was a laptop. So I was like just trolling on YouTube and I haven't stopped since. So, but yeah, no, as far as podcast goes, I'd say like my big ones are like, We Hate Movies, Grumpcast, and I also like to listen to any episodes of 90 Under 90 that I'm not on because I'm unfamiliar with them. So I have a subscription to that too. I've listened to Rogan's podcast several times. I don't know why I kind of fell off with it.
Because he's on Spotify now?
Yeah, that's probably it.
That's what people don't understand, is that Spotify is free and his episodes are on there for free. And I'm not like calling you out or anybody out.
Right.
But I'm just saying like I still check it out, and I love it because he had Freddie Gibbs on, and Freddie Gibbs told some story about he was like, one time I shot a crackhead 9 times, and he kept on running, or some stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's right, Freddie Gibbs, because you're one of my favorite rappers, and yeah, of course, that happened to you. It's something like
So Spotify, from what I gather, or from what I understand, it's kind of like YouTube where it's free, but you can subscribe for like a premium subscription, right? That's kind of how that is.
But also when it comes to music, you can't click on one song and play it, right? But what you can do is you can click on an album or a song or something by people, and you can click on it and it shuffles something for you. Unless you're on a computer. If you're on a computer, you can pick one song with the free membership and just play that one song. But on your phone, it shuffles everything for you. When it comes to a podcast, you can play any episode you want. Like my podcast, this will be on Spotify. You can literally click on this episode and listen to the full thing, top to bottom. And so, there's no shuffling thing. But when it comes to music, there is the whole shuffle thing. But there also is a lot of playlists that are there. So there is playlists there. So you can like just click shuffle on a playlist, like music group I like, Schema Posse, right? So they have a radio station little playlist called Schema FM. So you just click on it and it, has music from the members, past and present, stuff like that.
Cool, right on, man. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest, I never really used Spotify, but I'm gonna start now. You sold me on it because
it's good at recommending. That's what I say. That's why people like it, because it's really good at recommending stuff for them, and it's really like there's like things where you can like your Scrabbles of like how much you listen to this, that, and the third. But what people don't understand about that is that Apple has that too, but I like Apple because I'm like a very organized, controlling person where I want this playlist to have this song on it.
Got you.
Then
because you want to hear specifically that. Yeah.
What do you use for music?
YouTube Music, because I have a YouTube Premium subscription, so I usually use YouTube Music because I can get pretty much any album from there ad free. So since I already have the subscription, but that's what I use generally. Or it's gonna date me so much, man. Or if I really like something, I'll go track down a vinyl of it.
I have a record player over there. So.
Oh, right on. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I think like it's starting to. I got into it in college, even then, like records even before my time, but I got into it in college, and it kind of became a hip thing. So now I think a lot of people are starting to appreciate it.
But I only buy CDs of like underground stuff because like I'm not gonna buy the CD of the new so and so album, the new
right.
the new DaBaby album. No.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you probably never heard of Lil Wolfie Wolf or Nemesis Chronic Cartel.
Nope.
Yeah, like I just like those.
I have now though, and that's the point, because now I can go check them out, and I'll be able to.
is still smoking, on Doom Shop Records, like and he signed it. He signed it for me. He said, "Smoke some fool."
Did he really? Oh, dude, that's cool, man.
And it's because I interviewed him, so he's. I'm pretty sure that's why he signed it. And shout out to Soulze, like he's awesome to like collaborate with on an interview. But I also want to like I'm gonna do a drag. I don't know if anybody is a fan of the channel. I'm gonna let you know that the drag interview is happening soon. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. Drag interview soon. One of Soulze's lead producers. Their next album is coming out. It's Soulze and Drag. By the way, just pointing. I had to break the fourth wall there. But
that's cool, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure that we're keeping each other supported in this crazy thing called life. You gotta make sure that anyone you're a fan of you shout out. You gotta make sure that your people are shouting you out.
Yeah.
That's how you get the word out for each other.
So you were shouting out. You don't know David Lynch, I assume, but you were shouting out David Lynch.
I wish I did.
But so I wanted to tell you something about David Lynch. So I was listening to this podcast, and it was like a real motivational podcast. And he was talking about like why life is so good to this person. Like he was like, life is so awesome and good because you can watch a David Lynch movie, and at the end of the movie you think to yourself, what the fuck did I just watch? And you're like, he's like, life is so good because you can watch a David Lynch movie and not know what you just watched and have to explain it to yourself and shit like that. Would you agree that David Lynch movies are a good reason there is life on this earth?
Yeah. When I watch something, especially some of his deeper, like lesser known, like Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive's fantastic. But if I sit down and I subject myself to the full 3 hours that is Inland Empire, or I sit and I watch all 18 hours straight of the new Twin Peaks series on Showtime, which I did watch all 18 hours straight through. That was fun.
See the short film on Netflix?
No, what did Jack see?
Yeah,
what did Jack do or something? Yeah.
That was so weird. I loved it.
But I love it because do you know what it kind of reminds me of? It gives you the sense, how when you're watching a lot of filmmaker stuff, you can get a sense of what their vibe is, and it puts you in a time and a place. But with him, it puts you in a nightmare. And that's the way you can relate to it, because his work is not, obviously it's not something that we're going to be experiencing in real life. But every time that I watch something of his, I feel like I had nightmares that are reminiscent of that. And that's how I can relate to it. It feels like a night. He has captured surrealistic dream logic better than any other director I know.
It's like,
of.
Let me explain a nightmare. Like I had a nightmare where there was this ooze creeping up on me, and I was in this room, and I was trying to get out of this room because this ooze was creeping up on me, and I was never able to escape the ooze, but I never got trapped in the ooze at the same time. So it's like this weird running away from it. So like, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Or even like those. You ever have a dream where nothing bad has really happened in the dream, but something's wrong? And something feels off.
Yeah, dude. Oh my
like
god.
Yeah,
dude.
And
You're giving me
put your finger on it. Yeah, but something's wrong. That it's like that.
And then you wake up from it, and waking up would be ending the movie. Waking up and you're like, "What the fuck was that?" And then you eat your breakfast and you're like, and then you look at something, like I don't know, it could be like a video or something that distracts you, and you never think about it again. But then you kind of go back to it.
Maybe the details escape you, but that feeling you had is going to always be there for you to refer to. And that's what I think his movies capture, that feeling, that you have waking up from a nightmare. It's kind of fear, but at the same time, there's a lot of fascination mixed in with it. So that's why I dig on. Do you ever see, let me ask you this, you ever watch, you like Ben Wheatley? Ever seen any of his stuff?
Give me a title.
A Field in England, Kill List, High Rise, anything?
No.
Let me just tell you this. I'm going to give you a recommendation now. A Field in England. Do you have
Look
Amazon
this up.
Prime?
Oh shoot, I'm looking it up right now. I do have Amazon, yeah.
A Field in England.
It's on Tubi too.
Oh, nice.
So is An Intervention, by the way.
Yes, it is. I found that out just the other day. I found that out because I was looking for it, and because I knew it was on Amazon Prime, I was like, "Is this streaming anything else?" And I found it was on Tubi, and I texted Dan. I was like, "Did you know that our movie's on Tubi too?" And he's like, "I know now. Thanks for telling me." So,
Yeah, because I saw him post about it on his Instagram. What I want to see him do is what Dan do is I want him to like, and this is just me being because I support him, is I want him to like, he has an account for An Intervention that's on YouTube and stuff like that. I want him to change that to like an Eek thing or a Dan Eden thing. Like I want so when he posts something new, he doesn't abandon the account because I really like him posting all the time and all his stuff. Like from someone who's a fan of him, like I want to see him like shout out Eek more, shout out all the different collaborations more, because there's gonna be a time where the account on Instagram for An Intervention is gonna like not be there anymore.
Yeah,
and the YouTube one as well. You know what I mean?
and there is an Eek account and a Dan Eden account. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day they just kind of all the content from An Intervention, and all the content from his personal channel just got merged into the Eek account. I wouldn't be surprised. And then just like separated through playlists, like An Intervention material and things like that. Since he's really, I mean, God bless him, he's pushing forward. He's really, he's got plans for the future, and it's exciting talking with him because he's such a creative guy. And
he's for sure
just constantly, coming to me with like ideas, and even like stupid little ideas I'll have, he'll encourage. Like I think I brought up one time, I was like, what if there was a spin-off movie where Liam Crabb was working in the intervention office, and like they cut public funding, so he has to put on a talent show with the patients? And Dan was like, dude, we should do it. I was like, are you serious? You like that idea?
You should. I mean, I'd watch it. I'd shout it out, for sure. And he always likes my shout out to him though, because he's always liking my posts and very interactive. And also I do have his main social where it's like, hey Danny, and it's at Danny. Shout out to Danny. And like, what do you think makes him such a good director and sort of runner of things?
Because he has the perfect combination of control over things and allowing you to play as well. When I'm on set with him, it is the perfect balance between him and me palling around and him taking the reins and saying, this is what I want to see though. So at the same time, you're able to explore your character and go free, but at no point does anyone ever look at each other and say like, what are we doing now? There's a wonderful structure to be on set with him. You know what he wants, and you want to deliver it to him. And he's a real positive enforcement and driven guy too. He'll tell you every single time, he never stops thanking people for being a part of what he's doing. He respects everyone that chooses to be a part of it. He appreciates their participation. And just the fact that he's constantly telling people, thank you so much. He's a grateful dude, and he's very, very, very creative, and he never stops coming up with ideas. That's the other thing, is that he's always churning stuff together and thinking about like how he can add to or create something new. So that's what I'd say. So Dan's just got a good head on his shoulders, and I'm blessed and very lucky that I know him, because he's kind enough to let little old me be a part of his stuff, which is, lucky, because not a lot of people have somebody, in their life that's, believes in them the way Dan believes in me and believes in everyone else that he works with. So I can't say enough good things, honestly.
Hell yeah! I mean, shout out to Dan. Thank you, Dan, for setting this up. This was This is a great little podcast that we did.
Yeah, this is fun, man.
Yeah, we're just talking about all the, all the great films and stuff we like, and
dude, and I was like a little kid when I was watching the interview you did with him.
Oh, really?
And I was like a little kid because you were like talking about, man, you said I want to interview that guy, and I was like, I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I had to write down that because I write down questions before every interview. I had to do my little research, make a questionnaire with whatever material I can. So that was like written down in stone, like that I had to mention. Because you're just funny as shit to me when I watch the movie. Because I've been trying to hit out the films, and he gave me an early screener like 2 weeks before it was released or something like that.
Yeah.
And I watched it on a private YouTube link. With anybody can buy that, from if you want it for free. And I'm joking. I'm joking.
We'll do a giveaway. Yeah.
Giveaway. Yeah. I'll write the link down on a piece of paper with my Rumorized Kingdom. I'm joking. No, Dan. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Joking, Dan.
I'm sure he knows.
Yeah. So I had those written down. That was in stone. That was not just something I made up. It was official. In stone. And thanks for joining. Do you have anything you want to announce before we wrap this up?
No, just check out An Intervention. It is there. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on so even if you don't have a Prime account and you're broke and you don't have the money to spring a couple bucks to watch it, it's on Tubi now, so y'all got no excuses. Check it out.
Tubi's free. And what was on Tubi that I watched? King of New York. With Christopher.
With Walken.
Yeah, because so I did a little thing of that, right, where I sort of watched that movie, and I did a little video essay on my YouTube channel where I explained why it was like a really overlooked movie, underrated in terms of gangster movies, because it came out around the time of Goodfellas, right? So I uploaded that video essay, and it has like 5,100 views on my channel. It's the highest viewed channel on my thing. And so I'm gonna show you this comment I got on it, because the comments are insane. I'm gonna pull this up. You'll love this. Have you seen the movie though?
Okay.
King of New York with Christopher Walken? So it got a lot of comments because a lot of people arguing like, what's better, Goodfellas or King of New York? And I'm just gonna be that dickhead who says I like both. I'm not gonna answer the question because that's what I like saying. It's like when people ask me like, Tim Pimp and Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. It's like both. Like okay.
Why do I have to pick sides?
It's like all these people. They're like people were like nobody cared about Italian gangsters until hip hop made them relevant. King of New York was the first movie that hip hop made relevant, and nobody cared about Italian movies or Scarface or any of them until hip hop and Jay-Z made them relevant. And it was like Hood Classic Television commented that, and I was like, yes, you're right. I didn't hear about Scarface until I listened to like the Ghetto Boys or any of that. That's my experience. And then I just love this movie and how much that movie brought together. Like, what movie? I got another question, because why not? What movie that you watched really brought you together with a group of people, or kind of it has a little community aspect to it, like in terms of a fan base? Like, what fan base are you love being a part of?
That's a great question. Probably. Honestly, I would have to say probably Christopher Guest's movies, because that is honestly the fan base that I associate with includes those people you're watching it in An Intervention. That's the big inspiration there. Yeah. So anytime, and the Christopher Guest movies have such a great memories for me, because that was me, Jared, and Dan in the theater going to see A Mighty Wind on release day. So. Probably Christopher Guest, honestly, any of his movies, and best answer I could give you.
All right, thanks for joining. We're gonna stop recording in a second. Be sure to check out. I got the links to his IMDb page down in the description. I can't put his email in the description. I won't, but
you can.
No, I'm not. But I'm gonna put the link to the An Intervention link tree. So if you click on that link tree, you can find any links to this new movie that he starred in. And if you go to the IMDb, you could also just check out any other movies that he's been in and all of that. And thanks for joining this podcast. See you guys in the next video.